Hi there, this is Donna. I'm the founder of MyBigBusinessCard.com and creator and leader of the original Write a Book in a Weekend program and its sister program, Done For You Publishing. And today I did something a little crazy. I asked people who were in my study hall to give me a writing prompt, and I would write for them for 15 minutes. Well, actually, I did it I wrote for 30 minutes and then I revised for about 7 or 8 minutes. So I'm going to walk you through my process, and then I'll be delivering the result to the person who submitted the prompt. In this case, it was Angela. And Angela, I want to thank you for this prompt. And I chose it. There was a lot of good prompts submitted, but I chose it because I think it has a good general theme to it that a lot of people can relate to. So there could be a number of ways that, Angela, that you could use this piece that I wrote, and also for a number of different audiences. So that can be a little bit challenging because, how to get motivated when you just can't seem to get to work. That was the prompt. And is this regarding, corporate work or coaching work or writing work? So I had to make it a little bit general, but I think, and then of course, Angela, you can go in and add your own kind of thinking with this. So first I'm going to walk you through the first 15 minutes of what I did during our first 15 minutes of study hall. And I labeled things along the way to show you the order that I worked on. So I put the prompt here at the top, and then the first thing I did is I went and wrote, here are 5 ways to motivate yourself when you're just not feeling it. So this is turned into like a self-help or how-to article piece that I put together for Angela, although I have a little bit of like philosophy in it as well. So that's the first thing I wrote. And then the second thing I wrote, I immediately thought of something I just read in Jen Sincero's book, You're a Badass. So I went and wrote this paragraph next because I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this down and that'll be my bonus tip. And then I went and wrote just the word introduction because I'm like, oh, I know I need one, but I always write that last. And then number 4, I wrote the prompts, or here are the 5 ways. And I wrote just kind of like, I labeled them instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I labeled them A, B, C, D. And you could show how I started like moving things around. So I wrote, I wrote these 5 prompts and then these sentences underneath them. And so that's what I did during the first 15-minute writing session. Then during the second 15-minute writing session, I added some things to it. So I went and I added this paragraph about talking about how it happens to everybody. And I think it's really important whenever you're writing a piece like this, when you're looking to motivate somebody, you don't want to be patronizing. You don't want to be, like, oh, you have to do this, you should do this, you must do this. And even if you're giving them direction like I am later, it's good to acknowledge, just, hey, listen, you're okay, right? You're okay, I'm okay. This happens to everybody, even the most motivated around us. So I added that paragraph. I think I added a few things here to the different segments or the different tips that I had. And then I really, during the second writing session, I spent a lot of time on this part, and I'm going to read the whole piece to you in just a moment. But that because it felt important to me. And sometimes, like when we're doing 5 tips, we make them all the same length. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this last one bigger so it's more memorable for the reader. And this is where I get into a little bit of the philosophy, spiritual bent of things. And then I wrote the word conclusion down here. So then I went and just added let me see here, a few more words. This might be, this is another copy. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that is. So I went and, so next I'll just show you what I did during the 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes of our writing sessions this morning in study hall. And I turned on track changes so you can see the revisions that I did to the piece. So basically, Angela, before I send this to you, I'll accept these, probably give it one more quick read through, and then send it to you. So how to motivate yourself when you're just not feeling it. So I put a title on there, And then have you ever had a case of the I don't wannas? You know, when you have a to-do item on the list that you just can't seem to get juiced about. So I add the word item. I originally had when you have a to-do on the list. Now that didn't sound quite right. So first of all, know that it happens to even the most motivated among us. So I added know that, again, just to emphasize to the reader that it's okay. All right, know that it happens to even the most motivated among us. So don't beat yourself up for those times you're just not feeling it. Most high achievers are good at getting down on themselves when they're not at peak productivity, but that's not doing anybody any good. I had a few typos there that I fixed. Next, consider one or more of these 5 ways to get up and get going. So I added this phrase. I was looking for something with some alliteration. So again, it would just kind of keep the reader, keep the mind interested as they're reading this. Do a related task. I originally had do a related something, and that wasn't sounding right. So do a related task. Distract yourself from the have to by doing something else related to the task. This might help grease the wheels of productivity. Number 2, I changed these from ABC to 1, 2, 3. Number 2, give it 3 minutes. Tell yourself that you only have to work on it for 3 minutes, like taking a baby step. You might find that's all it takes to grease the momentum wheels and keep on going. Number 3, ask someone else to do it. Delegation is the secret of kings and queens. Is there someone else who could do it for you? Maybe an app for that? So I added that little phrase. I was trying to think of like one more thing to add to that number 3, and I wanted to make it a little bit lighter too. As an aside, here's an idea I have for somebody, and I've been thinking that I think something like this could work. And that is kind of having a co-op where everybody gets together and then like we make a list of the things that we don't want to do and then kind of swap them out. So, might be like, oh, I don't want to contact this person to do a foreword for my book. And the reason you don't want to contact them is because, you have some emotional baggage or you just feel like shy about contacting them. Whereas like, I've never heard of that person. I don't know who they are. What's their email address? Sure, I'll drop them a line and ask on your behalf. I think there could be something there. I don't quite have it all developed yet, but if anybody wants to take that idea and run with it, feel free. Number 4, create a countdown. Think of it like you're getting a youngster to go to bed. 45 minutes until you're ready to you're going to get ready for bed, then 30 minutes before bed. It helps put the brain in, I'm going to do this mode. And then number 5, reframe it by saying, I get to do this. And this is my more philosophical piece. So this is my personal secret for getting things done when I'm feeling overwhelmed or have a case of the I don't wannas. I tell myself, look what I get to do. It's a small, I probably would put that in italics, get the word get. It's a small phrase with a lot of power as it reminds me of the joys I get to experience in my everyday life and as a coach, how I don't have to go punch a time clock. But then as an aside, it's like, well, I don't want to look down on people who punch a time clock. So then I wrote, even if you do have to punch a time clock though, the phrase look at what I get to do is also a good reminder to be grateful for opportunities. It helps widen the lens and take a philosophical or spiritual view of things. This phrase is also a reminder for me to be grateful for my place here on earth. It's a privilege to get to do my work. Originally, I thought is that sentence a little bit too much about it's a privilege? But then I thought, no, I kind of liked it when I was doing revision, so I kept it here. Also, see how also like I went into first person, and Angela might be thinking, well, Donna wrote this and I didn't write this. But you know what, Angela, if you feel that this, that you could relate to this, feel free to keep it in first person for yourself. Then I wrote, here's a bonus tip. Jen Sincero, author of You're a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life, has, it shouldn't be in quotes. If it's either italicized, underlined, or in quotes, and book titles are italicized, has another good idea. In her book, she says, if you know you're going to procrastinate and wait until the last minute to do something, to just schedule it that way. Say it's a 3-page client report that you have to write. It's due Thursday at 5 p.m. and today is Monday. It will take 4 hours of work time to do. You could just give yourself permission to start the project at 1 p.m. Thursday. That done, you can enjoy the rest of your week and then plan to buckle down at 1 p.m. Thursday and enjoy the adrenaline rush. And that's pretty much like how I wrote it. I didn't even go back and really revise that too much, but I didn't have too much time. it's pretty good the way it is. And then here's the conclusion, the last thing I wrote. And what I did is I went and copied the introduction, and then I just start rephrasing it. So having a case of the I don't want us happens. The key is to recognize it when it does. I'm having an issue with singular and plural because I don't want us is plural, but then I have it here. So that's something that has to be revisited. And instead of putting, or you could just, whatever, it's fine. That's probably, people won't, like most people won't even notice. And instead of putting energy into wallowing in your misery, look for a solution. This will allow you to then move on to those ideas, tasks, and conversations that rev you up and put you on your path to making a difference in this world. All right, so there you have it. So that is what I came up with in about 37 minutes of writing in study hall for Angela. Angela, thank you so much for allowing me. Really, it is a privilege to write this for you. And maybe I'll do this again. I'll see what the response is like after this. Until then, this is Donna Kozik. I'm the founder of MyBigBusinessCard.com, creator and leader of the original Write a Book in a Weekend program and its sister program, Done For You Publishing. I look forward to seeing you in the bookstore. If you are interested in writing your own book or joining us in the study hall, you can go get your free book planner at freebookplanner.com and then watch your emails for something from me, Donna Kozik. Until then, again, I'll see you in the bookstore.